Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Innal hamdulillah hamdan hamdan wa nashkuru shukran shukran wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayh wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudilla wa may yudlil fala hadiya. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم تسليما كثيرا مزيدا ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي اللهم ربي زدنا علما وارزقنا فهما سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم اللهم وفقنا بعلم وعمل بما تحب وترضى اللهم ارزقني إخلاصا في القول والعمل اللهم أرنا حقا حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا باطلا باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may this lesson be a means of salvation for the sins we have committed. Ameen. I also pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that for every second and minutes where we are investing it to view this clip, may it be amongst the means for us to draw ourselves closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I also pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may He grant me the ability to present and may He grant you the ability to understand. Every goodness solely lies in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and every evil I would like to ascribe to myself and shaitan. Let us continuously send our salam and salutation upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I pray and hope that every one of you are in good state of iman and health. Now, in last episode, I had the opportunity to share with everyone on the linguistic and the Sharia definition of ziwaj, the goal and the objective which lies behind it. Now, linguistically, when we delve into the word ziwaj, we derive from the word zawaja, zay, waw, and jin. Linguistically, it means pair, tying two things together, right? You know, if you remember irtibal, or rock to shape, two things are being tied together. And in Sharia perspective, in a nutshell, from the Arabic terminology of Aqdun Yufidu, the entire phrase which I shared with you previously, right? It basically means is the agreement, right? The Acct, the agreement where both of them mutually agree in order for them to come into the legitimate relationship. And the goal of it, of marriage, is to achieve and attain tranquility. Where I shared with you the ayah from Surah Ar-Rum, chapter number 30, verse number 31. بعد أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم, when Allah reveals ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون. And from amongst the many other marvels and signs and proof of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is where He has paired the couples together. Why? And the hidden reason behind it is for each individual to find tranquility and contentment between each other. And how can they find the contentment and tranquility when they comply to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala law by continuously practicing it? That's when they are able to experience the extreme love, and at times when the love wear off, they are able to also equally practice the rahmah, which is mercy, the mercy of forgiveness, the mercy of mutual respect between the spouse during the time of adversity. In it, there are many signs for the people who reflect and contemplate. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then gives us many guidance in the Quran. And today's session will touch on the importance of marriage. Today's session will touch on importance of marriage. There are many important points for marriages, but we will cover some of those important points related to marriage. And amongst the crucial important point here for us to reflect even before we get into the arena of selecting the compatible or suitable partner is for us to bear in mind this ayah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is in Surah An-Nisa, verse number 21, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, وَكَيْفَ تَأْخُذُونَهُ وَقَدْ أَفْضَى بَعْضُكُمْ إِلَى بَعْضٍ وَأَخَذْنَا مِنْكُمْ مِيثَاقًا غَلِيظًا. And how can one snatch away the mahar, which is the gift that was given during the marriage, when both has exchanged al-afdah, which is the breath, right? The physical interaction where both of them had, right? The intimacy where both of them had. One after, one day after another day, one time after another time. بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا وَأَخَذْنَا مِنْكُمْ, right? And we have indeed taken from them. Who is the them here referring to? أَخَذْنَا مِنْكُمْ مِيثَاقًا, from them. مِيثَاق means it's a contract. It is an agreement. It is a covenant, right? It is a vow where the individual is taking. غَلِيظًا, right? It is just not any vow, right? It is a vow that has seriousness in it, right? It is a vow which is unbreakable. It is a vow which is intense. It's a vow that it has extremism in it, that a person must bear in mind that this is not any sales and contract. Now, even if you have signed up for any telco, right? When you sign up for the agreement and when you want to breach the contract, you have penalty for you to pay, right? And even if you have purchased a property and in the midst of the property, when you and I equally want to breach that particular contract, we need to face the consequences. We need to pay the penalty. Now, what more about this contract which has been ordained from above the heavens by the one who have legislated it, which is the legislator, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, with the word afdah, right, means exchange of breath. What it here means is the comfort where the spouse has is not what you can find between the children and the parents. Sometimes even us being grown up under one roof with our parents, we will not be as comfortable as we are with our spouse, right? When we feel very relaxed and we feel very calm, not only calm in heart, but also physically, we are calm, that we are able to do things which are within the parameters of this religion, that which are permissible for us to do. And that is the level of comfort we engage with our spouse, all right? And this gives us a broader understanding on the word afdah, right? It is just not of us, exchanging the breath. It is more than that. It is you have mingled with them, not only physically, but also spiritually. You feel very comfortable with them. Then how can you then, ask from them the thing which you have given? Why is that so? Because here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the important point where I want to get across is the mithaq, right? Which is the agreement, which is the contract, that where many of us take it for granted, right? And this is not any sales and purchase contract, All right, even in, as I mentioned to you a while ago, in every sales and purchase contract, you have, you know, clauses which are being stated that what if you violate, what if you, you know, breach certain clauses in the contract, you need to face such penalty. You will be, you need to, they will incur to you certain penalties. Now, what more about when you are going to breach, right, a contract ordained by the legislator? A question arises: who is this contract against, and who is the contract favor of? Right now, it is in favor of the women, and its liability is against the men. In another word, if you or me or anyone around the world, right, is about to sign on a loan agreement. Now, some amongst us have taken loan, right? You have taken student loan, or you might have taken house loan. There are people who, or you have taken car loan, you have taken loan for something. And when you are about to put your hands onto the paper to sign, right, where you were to read the contract, you will find that the contract is against you, right? And the contract is in favor with the one who's giving you the loan. The one who's giving you the loan has a much more upper hand than the one who is receiving it, right? So in the loan, there is someone who is in liability side and on the collection side. Now, hereby, this misakon golizon is specifically indicating, right, about the day of judgment, where every man and woman will be accountable for this agreement. And the amazing thing is, the amazing part of this particular clause about this particular agreement is, this agreement is in favor with the women, and it is liable against the men, because the man, right, practically saying that the responsibility has been transferred over, right, and they are the one who are responsible, which is known as mas'ul. We will be questioned more than the women. Right? If you see in the hadith, which is recorded in Imam Abi Dawud, when Rasulullah SAW say, "Ala kullukum mas'ulun wa kullukum ala kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyatihi," that each and every one of you need to take care of your flocks, and each and every one of you are responsible for your own responsibility. And then Rasulullah SAW then elaborates further. So then you're able to understand that the key and crucial role of a man in the household, right? That the man will be asked more severely in comparison with the women. So bearing in mind that marriage is not a game, and it's not for fun, right? And indeed it is the fundamental pillar to establish a better society. So it is just not getting bypassed in, just get married. Some people will not have, they will be purposeless, they do not have a proper objective, goalless, they do not have a proper goal when they're getting married. I'm getting married because every other friend of mine is getting married, or they are already married, so as such I'm getting married. But what is much more important and crucial for you and I, particularly for men to know, right, is a reminder for myself and a reminder for every man out there, that when we took it with Ameen, right, it's a mas'ul, is responsible upon us. So even before anyone steps into the marriage, right, be mindful of this wali's, right, this mithaq, right, this covenant. And amazingly, this word mithaq and wali has been used thrice in the Quran, and the two other times which is separately is being used is, once is when the prophets, right, the word mithaq and wali has been used in context of the prophets for the submitters and the believers to strongly believe in the prophets, and prophets themselves are being given the covenant, right, for them to disseminate it with truth, with its rights. And on the other end, where this word is being used is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Nabi Adam, and then he took out from the back of Adam, and then he said that, we have taken from you a mithaqan ghalidhan, we have taken from you a very serious covenant, a very serious contract that you must be mindful of, right? And then it is used in this particular context when the mutual agreement between the husband and wife takes place during the midst of the solemnization. So bearing in mind of this method of this covenant, right? Now we move on to the topic of choosing a suitable and compatible partner. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala beautifully reveals in the Quran in Surah An-Nisa chapter number 4 verse number 3, where he says, وَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ أَلَّا تُقْسِطُوا فِي الْيَتَامَى فَانْكِحُوا مَا طَابَ لَكُم مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ. And the ayah continues, وَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ أَلَّا تُقْسِطُوا, if you are unable to manage the affairs of a yatim and orphan, then it is appropriate for you then to go and find and choose a suitable partner, right? So there is a link between the previous ayah and here, right? So it's stating that, taking care of orphan is no doubt is heavy, right? But then again, if you're unable to fulfill that, some amongst us might not able to fulfill that. So as such here, right, God encourages the person, right, to continuously go and search for a suitable and compatible partner, so that when you are going to have your family, the children will not be left unattended, and they, as much as possible, we should nurture them and take them very importantly, so that they will not fall under the category of, as much as possible, the husband and wife, live a life and groom the entire children, and the children will not be left as a yatim, right? So it shows the importance of preservation. It shows the importance of taking care of the health, because some of them passes away because of certain diseases, so that the children will not be left. So there are many implications on this particular, the connectivity between these two, to the bridging between the yatim and choosing suitable partner. But it brings us to the next question, right? Wedding or marriage, right? A compatible, suitable partner. Now, what is the ruling of marriage? What is the ruling of marriage? Is marriage wajib? Is marriage sunnah? Or is it mustahab? Or is it makruh? Is it something which is disliked? So in different contexts, scholars have given or guided with different legislation, with different hukum. But in general, right, overall, right, all of them have agreed that marriage is mustahab. Marriage is mustahab. What it means by mustahab is highly recommended. It is highly recommended. Where else there is another group who continuously urges that it is wajib, it is obligatory. We will get into their opinion in a short while. But before that it is mustahab, right? For me to further elaborate to you why is it obligatory, we need to understand, right, the context of it. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then it brings me to the next part of my sharing today on a very profound hadith of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A narration which has been narrated by Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, kana Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya'muru ba'a wa yanha at-tabattul. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right, he ordered us to get married, and he forbade us from celibacy, right? Celibacy means deliberately not getting married. Deliberately not getting married. And the Prophet continued, تزوجوا الودود ودود فإني مكاثر بكم الأنبياء يوم القيامة. تزوجوا, marry or wed, al-wadud, the one who's very lovable, the one who's very affectionate, the one who will look after you, the one who's able to interact with you very well, the one who's able to show the care and concern for you, right? Al-wadud, which we went through during the ayah of Surah Ar-Rum, right? Mawaddah, right? It comes from the word wadud, the one who's loving and affectionate. Al-Walud is the one who's able to give birth to many children, which is a woman who is young and she has the ability to fulfill this criteria of enumerating the ummah of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, why is that so? The reason behind it is Prophet ﷺ will take pride in front of the various and different prophets on the day of judgment by stating that, look at my ummah. MashaAllah, not only that they have complied to the guidance, guided by the guide, Al-Hadi, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they has also followed on my footsteps by adhering upon my path. How beautiful is this hadith, right? Which is being narrated by Imam Ahmad and also Sahih ibn Hibban. So let us break this hadith, into parts for us to appreciate it better. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, kan Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya'mur al-ba'a. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam encourage us ba. Ba means having the ability, right? Ability of what? We will explain that later, right? I will explain to you in a short while. And he continues with, he prohibits celibacy, which is those people who have the ability. They know that they are eligible to get married and they have been provided with all those facilities, yet they deliberately do not get married. Right? When they know that they can do it, they do not want to get married. This is something where Prophet ﷺ has strongly urged. It's not prohibited, but it is highly discouraged for a person to stay on his own, and it is highly encouraged for the person to get married. Right? And when the person gets married, why? Rasulullah ﷺ, as he states, right? I will take pride on the day of judgment in front of the other prophets, in front of Nabi Adam, in front of Nabi Noah, in front of Nabi Ibrahim, in front of Nabi Ismail, in front of Nabi Musa, in front of even Isa, Jesus, radiyallahu ta'ala ajma'in. We'll be taking pride in this particular aspect. Al-Ba'a, what it means is the one who has ability, the one who has physical ability, and also the one who has financial ability. Now, this can be further be explained through concise extraction, a concise summary from the words of a mufassir by the name of Imam Qurtubi. Imam Qurtubi states, right, who is it obligatory upon? Who is it obligatory upon? It is obligatory upon al-mustati'u alladhi yakhafu ad-darara ala nafsihi wa dinihi la yartafi'u dhalika illa bit-tazawwuj. Al-mustati', bima'ana the person who's able. Ability here, some of the scholars say, is physical ability, that he is physically all right, he does not have disability, right? Basically, everything is functioning well, he is strong, he is fit, he is able to fulfill, while some others say it's financial aspect, right? And majority, a lot of them are of the opinion is financial aspect, that the person must have, is able to get married, means he's able. That does not mean that the person must have X amount of money in his bank. He must be rich. He need to own a huge, bungalow, a terrace house. He need to drive such and such car. He need to be clothed with such and such clothing. He need to wear such and such watch. And then when the person has, or the equally the man or the woman has all this, all they're equipped with all these things, right, prerequisites, then they're eligible to get married. That does not mean that. That means as long as you are able to meet the necessity of the marriage, right? As long as you are able to meet the necessity of the marriage, then you will fall under the category of having financial ability, right? And it becomes obligatory upon who? Now Imam Qurtubi highlights this: al-mustatib, the one who's able. الذي يخاف الضرر على نفسه, the one who's afraid that his spirituality and his religious practices will be distorted. Now, and particularly in the time where we are living in, that when we are continuously being exposed to different kinds of visuals, different kinds of videos, and exposed to different kinds of thoughts and ideology, where a person can fall prey into things which they want to prevent themselves as much as from, right? A person who wants to prevent themselves as much as possible not to fall into those tiers and those categories, right? When the eyes is unable to be controlled from things which will distort their upliftment of their spirituality, right? For this group of people, it is obligatory, it is mandatory for them to go and get married, right? لا يرتفع ذلك إلا, it is not listed upon them except for them to get married. So they need to go and find, if they are not working, they need to find for at least a sustainable income, right? An income where they're able to stand on their own and they're able to provide the minimal for their wife, which we will explore in the upcoming episodes for you to understand and appreciate this better, right? But the simple understanding, the simple elaboration here is, as long as you are financially able and no doubt physically able, and you're able to fulfill the guidance of the guideline of the Prophet, then it is highly encouraged, right? So from today's session, we're able to understand that marriage is a shield and protection against distorted spirituality, right? Marriage is a shield and a protection against distorted spirituality, so that your spirituality will not be distorted, right? Distortion in spirituality, right? It is protection against distortion in spirituality. Next, it ensures a person's spiritual upliftment. So when you get married, what does it ensure you of? It ensures you of the continuous spiritual upliftment within yourself. And then it further, the third is, it bridges a better connectivity with our Creator. It bridges better connectivity with our Maker, who is Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So hopefully with this particular episode today, you guys have better picture on the importance of why an individual should get married. And even if you're married, right, it's a reminder for you to further steadfast your marriage so that you can have a better and prosperous marriage life ahead. Thank you very much for tuning in to this particular session on family and dynamic institution. Hope to meet you guys again in the upcoming episodes. Have a wonderful day ahead. Jazakumullahu khairul jazak. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.